Justin Trudeau, he's an asshole. I will say that. Nothing new there. But we're about to play a video, and just imagine all of what is taking place regarding this convoy and what it is that his response was to that. It wasn't trying to get rid of any sort of acts of aggression that they are, of course, the ones being instituted those vaccine mandates and passports or whatever it is they have. Now listen to what this idiot just said. I'll give you the context, but I just want you to listen to this statement right here. Just listen.
Canada and our allies will defend democracy. We are taking these actions today to stand against authoritarianism. Canada.
Now, again, democracy, it's always hilarious that people act like democracy is somehow antithetical to authoritarianism anyway. But the first bit is a bunch of bullshit. It's the same, democracy good, when democracy couldn't be anything further from that. Listen to, again, that second part of that. The audacity of this fucking fruit.
We are taking these actions today to stand against authoritarianism.
Okay. This man just flat out said he's taking actions to stand against authoritarianism. Now, you may be wondering, what the fuck is the context here? I'll give it to you. This is, of course, talking about Russia's and this whole Ukrainian situation and this potential invasion, and, of course, Putin acknowledging that those two territories are sovereign, which kind of people are alluding to this is going to lead to an invasion because it then justifies their occupation of Ukraine at that point. And this is what he's talking about. Russia's flagrant disregard for the independence of a sovereign nation is a serious threat and security to stability in the region and around the world. And that's when he said, we are taking actions today to stand against authoritarianism. I think this is a perfect opportunity for those of you that don't understand why folks are as, okay, look, stay out of foreign people's affairs and take care of business in your own geographical area. It's because of shit like this. You are highlighting some of the most, in your own country, because again, you're facilitating it, some of the most, in terms of an example, especially of what we have in North America, but really throughout the world, Canada has one of the more strenuous responses to COVID and how that is impacting their citizenry and how they are coercing them to get this jab. And you mean to tell me that authoritarianism is something that you give a shit about? You are an authoritarian yourself, you dipshit. Trudeau himself, along with other world leaders, of course. So the audacity of them to say, okay, we're standing against Russia and their authoritarianism as they beat their own citizens upside the fucking head. Now, I went on the Blaze and I talked about this, and I know warmongering pieces of shit would love for America to be back involved in everybody else's affairs. But when you look at the last 2 years and what's specifically taking place in not everywhere in America, not like where I'm at, but you got the coastal spots, you got what's going down in New York City. And then you have what's, of course, going down up north where the snow Mexicans are in Canada. And for any of these, be it from Biden's administration to Trudeau, to try to fix their mouth to make it appear as if they give a shit about a government violating the rights of other people, is fucking laughable. You're doing it to your own citizens. And he just said it. He just says that's how confident these people are. That you ain't gonna do shit about it. If anything, you'll defend them doing it. Because my roads and shit, right? It always comes back to the roads. It's a necessary evil, right? But imagine that, man. Imagine a God. I don't know how this is going to turn out, because I think this is going to be a little different from what we have seen historically in the past, because we live in the information age. Everybody's kind of connected, and it's kind of hard to, I think, convince people to be on side of a war, especially when it has about nothing to fucking do with America. Good luck with that. Not to say there aren't going to be warmongering pieces of shit, neocons, that are going to try to make something like this happen. But as far as the people and public opinion supporting it, I don't think you're going to have one of those 9/11 situations. It's going to be very, very difficult to convince people of that. But what makes this particularly unique is that we have, the last 2 years, we've seen some of the craziest medical tyranny that we're probably ever going to see in our lifetime, right? And that is a thing that is impacting people's lives right now that live in these territories, be it in America and in Canada. Like that's something that's happening. Their own governments are imposing this shit on their own citizens. It's very difficult to get someone else to try to, and I think that's maybe why they're hyping this Russia-Ukraine shit up anyway. Because as well, I don't want to say it's the distraction. I think that's a lazy term to use. It's more of they think that somehow that will absolve them of it, of what it is that they have done and what they have done to you and what they continue to do in certain areas, what they continue to do to you in the name of science and medicine and shit and all this coercive, extortive tactics that they have been using to try to get you to jab and using their powers to do that. None of these pieces of shit can ever say that they were ever against authoritarianism, and especially people that voted for these pieces of shit can never say that they were against authoritarianism. Authoritarianism, you crackhead motherfucker, authoritarianism is not something that exists when it's only when, I guess, it's not authoritarianism when you are using the state to sort of impose these acts of aggression upon your political enemies. And it's not authoritarian. It doesn't stop being authoritarianism just because it's something that you authorize. And you have to remember, when it comes to the jab, that's exactly what this is. This shit ain't got nothing to do with science. We already know that. We've been known that. This ain't got shit to do with science. It has everything to do with the fact that they put the ideological lines, they drew the ideological lines between vaccinated versus not vaccinated people regarding COVID. And they feel like they're punishing their political enemies by having them be ostracized or having them lose their jobs or having them do what, have to go through all of these sorts of hoops to have a normal life. That's what it was always about. It's about punishing who they deem as their political enemies. And it's the most authoritarian shit, most egregious example of it that we're going to see probably in our lifetime regarding the medical tyranny for sure. But for these people to act as if, some shit's going down way across the way and they want to, we're standing up against authoritarianism. No, the fuck you're not. You're an authoritarian piece of shit yourself, and I think people need to stop missing for words and call your bitch ass for what it is that you are.
You just listened to a clip from my podcast, For Canon's Sake, which is live throughout the week at 12 p.m. Central on youtube.com/YoungRipper59 and odyssey.com/@YoungRipper59. Be sure to check out my website, ericdjuly.com, so you can stay up to date with everything it is that I'm doing. You can also become a member and get access to a bunch of cool perks and exclusive content, which includes a social media hub where you can interact with myself and other members. It even has an app that you can get, which is now live in the Google and Apple stores.